Hey guys, Dr. Bodle here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna go over the 9 best low carbohydrate vegetables to help you lose weight and keep it off. And for those who are interested, if you stick with me till the end of the video, I'm also gonna go over some strategies and ways you can approach vegetables to help you be more successful. Of course, if you're interested in this information and you like to learn about natural strategies such as diet, nutrition, and lifestyle to help support your thyroid healing, then please remember to subscribe to the channel and also click on the notification bell. That'll let you know when I post a new video every single Thursday. My specialty is in helping women with Hashimoto's and low thyroid to lose weight and improve their energy naturally. And one of the recommendations we often hear for people trying to lose weight is that they'll want to increase their vegetable intake. The thought behind this is that more vegetables leads to a higher volume of food, which makes us feel fuller sooner, and also allows us to eat less calories. And if you've already made that shift to adding more vegetables to your diet and you've seen improvements, that's great. But if you're someone who's been dealing with chronic thyroid symptoms for more than 1, 5, 10, or even 20 years, if you have chronic inflammation, or if you just don't tolerate carbohydrates very well, you may need to take that generalized approach and just focus it down and make it a bit more targeted for you. One of the ways that we can do that is we can swap out more sugary fruits and starchy vegetables and instead include a lot of the lower carbohydrate options that we're going to talk about today. But before we jump into our list, there's a couple things that I wanted to note for context. And the first is that the amount of carbohydrates in each one of these foods is going to be based off of 1 cup of that vegetable. Now I know that measuring things in cups isn't always the best way to do it, especially when it comes to vegetables. However, for myself and for a lot of my patients, I find it much easier to visualize a cup of food rather than having to get out the food scale, weigh the food, determine how many grams there are, then doing a calculation to figure out the amount of carbohydrates. Secondly, we'll be going through the list from lowest net carbs to highest net carbs, so if you're taking notes at home, it'll be easy for you when you come back and reference it. So let's get started. Number 1 on our list is spinach. And for the most part, you could swap any other leafy green into this position and the numbers are going to be relatively the same. 1 cup of raw spinach has 1 total carbohydrate and 0.5 net carbs. And when it comes to people recommending unlimited vegetables, I think that leafy greens are usually what they're referring to. Even on the most stringent ketogenic or low carbohydrate diets, people can have up to 20 cups of spinach per day, and it's not going to have a negative impact on their weight. Number 2 on our list is celery. Now, I'm not the biggest celery guy in the world, but coming in at just 3 total carbohydrates and 1.5 net, celery can be a great low carbohydrate vegetable option. My favorite way to use it is as texturing, and it provides a nice crunch. I'll add it to things like salads or combine it with other vegetables and bake it in the oven. Number 3 is cauliflower. Cauliflower has 5 total carbohydrates and 2 net. And these days it's very popular as a rice replacement in low carbohydrate communities. In fact, it's so popular that you can often find rice cauliflower at the store, but if you want to save a little bit of money, it's just as easy to do it at home with a food processor or blender. But no matter how you like your cauliflower prepared, it can be a great low carb option to help complement your meals. Next on our list is zucchini at 6.5 total carbohydrates and 4 net. Zucchini is great because you can bake it, you can saute it, and just like cauliflower, it can be used to help replace some of our more traditional food options and help us make the switch to low carb. The best way to do this is use a spiralizer and change your zucchini into zucchini noodles. Now before we go any further, I did want to mention that not everything on this list is technically a vegetable. And I cheated on the last one using zucchini, which I believe is a fruit. You guys can double check me on that. But there's going to be a couple more on this list that are also not vegetables. However, the reason why I picked them is we traditionally think of them this way. They're prepared like vegetables, and also their nutrient content is similar. But let me know what you guys think of the list so far. Leave me a comment down below, and you can also let me know if you think that I shouldn't have chosen some of these non-vegetable items. Moving along, number 5 is asparagus with 7.5 total carbs and 4 net. Asparagus is one of my most favorite vegetables, although it is one of those that's a little tough to figure out exactly how much is in a cup unless you chop it up really small. My favorite way to prepare asparagus is to snap off the firm end, leave the whole spear intact, add some olive oil and salt, and bake it in the oven for 425 for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the thickness of the asparagus. Number 6 on our list is another one of those non-vegetable choices, and it is mushrooms. Now there's going to be a little bit of variability from mushroom to mushroom, but in general there's about 8.25 grams of total carbohydrates and 4.75 net carbohydrates per cup. Mushrooms can be a great side dish by themselves. I like to saute them in a little bit of ghee and coconut aminos, or you can use them as a topping for things like chicken and steak. Number 7 on our list is technically a fruit, but don't tell anyone, and it is bell peppers. A cup of red bell peppers has 9 total carbohydrates and 6 net, but if this is an area that you want to make a little bit more of a sacrifice on, you can always choose green bell peppers, which only has 4 net carbohydrates. Of course, just because bell peppers are low carbohydrate doesn't automatically make them good. And some people will struggle with or react to certain foods in the nightshade vegetable category. If you want to learn more about this, I made a whole video on the topic. It's called Nightshades and Inflammation, and I'll link it for you up above. Number 8 is broccoli with 11 grams of total carbohydrates and 6 net. Broccoli is definitely one of my staples. I love to use it by itself or in combination with other vegetables, but I have to bake it and make sure it's a little roasted, a little crispy. No mushy broccoli for me. And finally, number 9 on our list is carrots. Carrots have 15 grams of total carbohydrates, 10 grams of net carbohydrates, which makes it the highest of all the vegetables that we've discussed so far. Carrots can be great raw or roasted, as part of a meal or by themselves, but because they're a little bit higher in carbohydrates, we need to be careful with them if we're doing things like juicing, which can remove the fiber and increase the amount of available glucose. So that's it for our list, and hopefully that gives you enough options to start making some changes while also keeping your diet varied and interesting. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I also wanted to go over some strategies for you guys to help give you perspective and make sure you're being successful with your new choices. The first thing that I want you to consider is even when it comes to eating healthy foods like these low carbohydrate vegetables, I don't think that there is any food that you should consume in unlimited amounts. You'll often hear people say things like vegetables are free or that they don't count. However, if you have a significant amount of weight to lose, or if you're particularly sensitive to carbohydrates, then it's something you're going to need to keep an eye on, even if you're choosing the healthy selections that we laid out for you today. I believe that most of the time, people are told that they can have unlimited vegetables because the assumption is that they won't. And although it would be nice to rely on our natural hunger cues, these aren't always working properly for people with chronic conditions. Therefore, that's why I think in the beginning, we need to familiarize ourselves with our foods, no matter whether it's vegetables or otherwise. That way we can track it and make sure it's working for our body. Dovetailing off of that idea, my second recommendation is that knowing these numbers is important for the fiber content. As we've discussed before, for some people, fiber is great, but for others, it can exacerbate existing gut symptoms. So you have to figure out what is best for you. By knowing the numbers we talked about today, you can titrate up or down your fiber intake and not break the bank when it comes to total carbohydrates. Lastly, following a low carbohydrate diet isn't necessary for everyone. And the younger, more active, and healthier you are, the more you're able to tolerate higher amounts of carbohydrates. However, if your goal is to lose weight and you've already made some steps to do so, but you haven't seen the changes that you want, you still might be above your carbohydrate tolerance threshold and may need to restrict further. In today's video, I talked a lot about net carbohydrates, and I think it's a good strategy to use when we're consuming whole foods. But it isn't an exact science. And if you're continuing to struggle with less than 20 grams of net carbohydrates per day, you may want to change things up and instead focus on reducing under 20 grams of total carbohydrates per day. While it isn't necessary for everyone, focusing on total carbohydrates is a more aggressive way to go after things and may be necessary for you to achieve your goals. But no matter what your goals are, I hope that you're achieving them. And if you're ready to make some changes but feel like you need some additional help, you can always get in touch with me to see if we would be a good fit to work one-on-one together. I always start with my new patients by setting up a no-pressure, free consultation to make sure that our goals align. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can send me an email at contact@seattlethyroidhelp.com and we can get you scheduled. If you've already been using a low carbohydrate diet but haven't been supporting your electrolytes, that might be the missing piece you need to maximize your success. Grab my free download at the link in the description box below, which is Electrolytes for Hashimoto's and Keto, which will give you an at-home recipe that you can use to feel your best. But that's all for today's video. Thanks so much for hanging with me. I really do appreciate it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it, and also check out some of my other content. My name is Dr. Bodle. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will see you guys next Thursday.